Welcome, dear viewers, to our channel. Today, we will discuss the retreat of the government of El Salvador, led by Nayib Bukele, from adopting Bitcoin as a mandatory legal currency. But before we begin, don't forget to support us by commenting, subscribing, sharing, and liking. The website, Literary 34 Inches published a report highlighting the retreat of the government of El Salvador from adopting Bitcoin as a mandatory legal currency after signing an agreement with the IMF, indicating that Bitcoin acceptance has become optional, with tax payments limited to the US dollar, reflecting a shift towards more stable financial policies. The site stated that El Salvador signed an agreement with the IMF, making the acceptance of the cryptocurrency optional only, after President Nayib Bukele had made Bitcoin legal tender in 2021, becoming the first in the world to make this decision. However, the volatility of cryptocurrencies, the lack of necessary technological infrastructure, and the weak digital culture among the population were obstacles that were difficult to overcome. According to the site, despite Donald Trump's promise to make the United States the crypto capital of the planet, Trump of El Salvador, a name given to Nayib Bukele, announced a radical retreat in his policy regarding Bitcoin. After El Salvador became the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender in 2021, it surprised everyone a few days ago by accepting a loan of $1.4 billion from the IMF, an agreement that requires a significant review of its monetary policies. The site clarified that among the agreed amendments, accepting Bitcoin as a means of payment by merchants has become optional, while tax payments will be exclusively in US dollars. This agreement represents a radical shift compared to the initial approach. Nevertheless, the government announced that it would continue to purchase Bitcoin to bolster its strategic reserves. This agreement is considered a pragmatic step for a country suffering from liquidity shortages and needing a more moderate policy away from slogans and easy announcements. The site pointed out that El Salvador attracted global attention when it adopted Bitcoin as part of a strategy aimed at enhancing financial inclusion, facilitating remittances from abroad, and attracting investments. El Salvador has a population of about 6.5 million and has used the US dollar as its official currency since 2001. The country has faced complex economic challenges, such as a high percentage of the population lacking bank accounts and its heavy reliance on remittances from abroad, which account for about 20% of its GDP. The adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender was accompanied by several initiatives, including the launch of the digital wallet, Chivo, an app designed to enable citizens to exchange cryptocurrencies for dollars. To encourage its use, a reward of $30 in Bitcoin was distributed, and ATMs for digital currencies were installed throughout the country. The site reported that President Bukele stated that tourism had increased by 95% thanks to the adoption of Bitcoin, noting that Salvadoran citizens now own digital wallets and that the national Bitcoin wallet has achieved profits exceeding $31 million. However, the implementation of these policies faced many obstacles, as the volatility of the cryptocurrency raised doubts about economic stability, and rural areas in the country often lacked the necessary technological infrastructure. Additionally, a significant portion of the population showed skepticism towards this policy. The site mentioned that what happened in El Salvador highlights the tensions that may arise between the innovation represented by cryptocurrencies and the requirements for economic stability. The extreme volatility that characterizes these assets poses a threat to economic accounts, especially when integrated into investment portfolios or promoted among small investors, increasing the risk of systemic crises in the event of a collapse in their value. The site indicated that the spread of virtual currencies could weaken central banks' control over monetary policies, leading to significant effects on economic stability. Additionally, the lack of transparency and regulation in this sector raises concerns about investor protection. The social challenges associated with digitization in unprepared environments, suffering from limited technological infrastructure and low levels of digital awareness, cannot be overlooked. The site pointed out that there is a problem of financial literacy, as the population's skepticism towards digital currencies, difficulty accessing technological devices, and lack of financial awareness have led to limited adoption of Bitcoin and significant tensions that escalated into mass protests. These protests highlighted the importance of adopting a balanced approach that reconciles innovation with stability. The site concludes the report by emphasizing that the experience of El Salvador is a unique case in the history of digital currencies, raising fundamental questions about the intersection of traditional monetary policy and emerging technologies. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the future of Bitcoin in El Salvador, as is the case in many countries around the world, this experience will continue to provide valuable lessons for other nations considering the integration of digital currencies into their financial systems, especially with the new administration led by Trump.